Hey guys, how is everybody doing tonight? It is Russell, aka Medic Magic, and we are coming at you today from the swanky apartment. Anyways, I want to do this video for you guys real quick because I get so many questions and so many comments of people asking me about the Apr Stage 1 tune a lot, and the Stage 2 tune, and a lot about the clutch, warranty stuff, all that kind of, all those kind of issues and things you would think about whenever you were planning on tuning your car. So I decided to sit down on my computer here, do a little bit of research, write down some thoughts. I'm just gonna tell you guys what I kind of expected and what I think now of the tunes and what you guys can expect, and try and answer some of the super common questions that I get a lot. Let's start off with this. Pros and cons of getting a tune. So one of the pros, obviously, is you're gonna have more horsepower. The GTIs are rated at 210 to 220 crank horsepower from the factory, and an Apr Stage 1 tune bumped me up to 319 wheel horsepower, which you guys can watch that video somewhere. We did have a muffler delete on it at the time, which I think kind of helped it. Their APR's website was rating it at 316 crank horsepower, but we were able to outweigh that. It was kind of a cool day too, so that kind of helps. My first con to go along with that is probably the biggest one that people ask the most about, is losing your warranty. Supposedly, I mean, I've never had to do any warranty work or anything like that. Supposedly you get tagged with something on your ECU, I think it's called a TD1 code, that as soon as they plug in your motor or plug in your computer, they can tell that you've been tuned, and it's a way that Volkswagen can kind of keep track of you, and you're not backtracking, putting stock parts back on after you've been tuned, and you blow your motor up, and then you try and get warranty work done and have your motor replaced for free. Like I said, I've never had to go in for any type of work or had that type of issue or anything, but I have heard that from other people on the Volkswagen forums and on the Audi forums that has happened. So another pro, it's a super easy first upgrade. You don't have to have any type of mechanical skill or knowledge or anything. You basically just take it to a dealer, you pay the APR fee, you pay a installation fee, and then a couple hours later you walk out the door with almost 100 more, or actually I guess it depends which one you have, almost 100 more wheel horsepower, which is pretty insane. Probably the most bang for your buck kind of first mod that you can really do. I mean, you do an intake for a couple $100, it might bump you up a couple horsepower, and exhaust at the most maybe like 15 horsepower. But to be able to pay what I think I paid $600 because I got my tune on sale, to be able to jump up 100 horsepower was just absolutely bonkers. Contrast to that, another con is your parts are gonna wear out faster. And we'll get to this big question, but obviously there's gonna be more wear and tear on the essential components like your clutch, I'm sure, like the belts, spark plugs, all kind of stuff is gonna take more of a beating because it's being ran at such a higher level than what it was meant to do at stock. Even though I kind of believe that Volkswagen realizes that this was going to happen, and I think that they designed their motors to be able to handle this type of tuning, and like I said, my motor's still holding up absolutely fine. But let's talk about the clutch, because I'm still running my stock clutch, and I've said this I've said this before in some of my earlier videos, that I think one of the reasons I'm not having issues with my clutch yet is that I'm a very experienced, not trying to like toot my own horn here, but I'm a very experienced manual car driver. I've been driving sticks ever since I was 14 years old. Don't tell anybody, Dad. But since I was 16, I guess legally 16, I've been driving manual cars, which just makes it really easy on the GTI. I mean, I've never owned an automatic car, so I really perfected my skill. And I mean, anytime you get a new manual car, the clutch is going to be different, like the feel of it, where it catches, everything's going to be all different. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but versus Teddy that you guys see in the videos, his Volkswagen was the very first manual car he ever owned, so he had to learn on that car, and I'm sure the car that I learned on took a beating right now, and if he tried to throw an extra 100 horsepower at it, it would not fare very well. Teddy, actually tomorrow, hopefully I'm not letting this cat out of the bag or anything, is getting his clutch installed, and I'm really curious to see how well his car is going to run and how much faster it's going to be than mine. I mentioned in one of my other videos that I'm pretty sure I noticed a little bit of clutch slip in 6th gear on the highway. If I'm just cruising around in 6th gear and I floor it, the needle goes, the tachometer is like, instead of it just going like this, it goes like that, and then it goes like just this little tiny blip. Whereas on Teddy's car, if you do that, it goes, and then it goes like this. Like mine's is this little blip. So it's still holding up, it's still good. I'm obviously gonna get a new clutch here, probably before summer, before we start taking it to the drag strip, just because it's gonna need a new one. I mean, it's only gonna be a matter of time before 340 wheel horsepower and who knows, close to 400 foot-pounds of torque isn't gonna last on the stock clutch, no matter how good of a driver you actually are. But like I said, Teddy's getting his new one tomorrow. Maybe he'll let me do a review on it. I think he got a South Bend stage 3 clutch. I'm not exactly sure, but I'll have to talk to him about that. So let's talk about this. What is the absolute worst case scenario if you go get your car tuned and by APR and the next day something terrible happens? So maybe your clutch will blow up, or maybe your turbo will blow up. I know that the earlier Mark 7 generations, like the 2015s, have had really bad issues with the turbo. Some unfortunate guy, actually on a forum I follow on Facebook, had just bought a GTI like 2 weeks ago, and he heard a pop, and now his turbo is like smoking, and it's not building boost and anything like that. And I looked up real quick. A replacement IS-20 just from Volkswagen is about $1,500, which I'm sure you could probably get a used one off eBay if you're into that. If not, I don't know if I'd really buy a used one, or if they might be rebuilt or something like that. But if you know how to replace it, it's going to be a lot of work. Those turbos are really tight in the back. They're really tucked in there. I don't even know. You might have to take the entire engine apart to get to it. It would probably be a really big bitch. But I mean, you could probably expect at least $1,000 in labor if you took it to a Volkswagen dealership, if not more than that. If you guys know or have had experiences, please drop the community a comment down below so that we can know. But if it was me and I blew up my IS-20 after I did a $600 Apr Stage 1 upgrade, I probably would just bump up to the IS-38 because it's $1,700 from Volkswagen. The only downside is you have to get all the kind of supporting mods. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like bigger injectors. You're going to have to do different things with fuel, stuff like that. I think. Not an expert. That's just me speculating right now. But that's $1,700 for an IS-38. So let's say you take your APR Stage 1 tune out car and the motor has some catastrophic event. I don't even know what would happen. The turbo blows, like you blow a piston through freaking, or blow a rod through the block, something crazy like that. I don't know. And you need a completely new engine. Quick eBay search for a 2.0 TSI turbo Volkswagen motor, which is in the GTIs and some of the bugs and like the Audi A3. Is going for anywhere from just under $5,000 to under $6,000 for a brand new one. Now you could probably get a used one again. I'm not exactly sure. There weren't too many of them on eBay, which is kind of makes me feel a little bit better that people aren't having a bunch of issues with them, or they're not really selling them too much. Looking at labor, it's probably going to be a lot of money. I mean, it might even be another like $4 grand for them to put a motor in, if not more than that. Like, I have absolutely no idea, to tell you the truth. So here's the thing, you have to look at your risk versus your benefit. Do you want to be able to bump up your horsepower by 100 horsepower by just doing a Stage 1 tune for about $600 and beat guys in WRXs and Ford STs? I mean, I never raced or never had any competitions with an STI or anything like that, but I bet it'd probably be really close with just the Stage 1. Stage 2, you can definitely take an STI. You could take, I bet, Evos all day long. I mean, I'm just speculating, but just from driving other cars and driving my car and the kind of cars that I've had encounters with in roll competitions are a lot easier in the GTI. You guys have said this before, that, I mean, I had talked about how a Golf R tried to like pass me and be a hard ass, and I was able to gap him. And somebody had commented and said, "Oh, that's true, but if you were to stand still, Golf R would take you." I mean, which is obvious. It's four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. If you're doing roll racing, it doesn't really matter if you're all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive, as long as you can get that power to the ground. The slower you're going, the more the tires are going to spin. But if you're at a decent speed, it's not going to really matter. But like I said, risk versus benefit. Do you want to do that? Do you want to have the power, or do you want to just have a daily commuter and not have as much power? Well done. It really comes up to what you want, what your needs are, what you want to do. Is this your daily driver? Is this your race car / daily driver? Or is this your full stupid race car and then you have another daily driver? The chances of you needing a brand new motor are very low, versus the chances of you needing to replace a clutch are very high. I would say stage 1 is safe. You can go stage 1 without a new clutch. If you're just looking for kind of like a budget upgrade, you're looking at less than $1,000, probably like $600. I think I paid like $20 installation fee. But whenever you get into, if you need a new clutch, I mean, the new clutches are running around $1,000. If you can't put the clutch in yourself, you're probably going to be looking at least like $700 for them to put the clutch in. So just kind of gauge how good of a driver you are, how much wear and tear you think your car has already taken. If you bought it used, that's kind of really hard to say. But you can really tell, I mean, just daily driving, where your clutch grabs and how it feels, how I don't want to say stiff, but how firm it is, just the condition of it. Now, one thing I do want to say that is really cool, that I had heard about this, but I never actually looked it up, and I just looked it up on APR's website, and it's actually really cool. It's called Apr Plus, which is, it's a little bit more expensive, it's a little bit more conservative of a tune, but it replaces your factory powertrain warranty. So, from what I can understand, powertrain warranty that Volkswagen offers would be completely replaced by APR. You basically just go to an APR dealer, or APR deal, I don't want to say dealership, an APR branded shop, and you're covered via the warranty. Downside is that it is $1,099 for the tune, but you do get, it goes from your lowest 210 to the 220, which is the performance pack, up to what they say is 292, which with a couple more mods, I guess, like maybe a muffler delete, stuff like that you could do and then just take off and they would never know. I bet you could probably get up to 300 wheel horsepower, which if they had this back whenever I did mine, I might have done this, maybe. So it goes from 210 the lowest to 292, and then 258, which is stock foot-pounds of torque, up to 334 foot-pounds of torque. If you're kind of worried about it, you're worried about your warranty, you know, you want to pay a little bit more, a couple $100 extra more, and have that stability and have the mindfulness that you're going to be covered under warranty. Now, I don't know on manual cars how long the clutches are warrantied for, because it's all going off of how skilled of a driver you are. I've never had to deal with that. Again, if you guys have any experience, please let me know. But one question I would ask, with the brand new warranties out for the 2018s, with the, I think it's called the People First warranty I talked about before, which is 6 year, 72,000 mile powertrain warranty, which is crazy. I kind of wish I would have waited until getting an 18 model year, and then I probably wouldn't have done all this crazy stuff, because that's like a really, really nice, really long warranty. Just to wrap everything up, guys, in review, a lot of the questions, comments I get, is the stock clutch still holding? Yes. There is a little bit of an issue in 6th gear that's not making any, it's not getting any better, it's not getting any worse right now, which I'm sure it's going to get worse as the time goes on. I had talked about a rattling issue in my last video. I need to get underneath the car. I think it's probably going to be a heat shield or something like that that's just making some annoying noises. For you guys to be able to get up to where I'm at, which is the stage 2, around 340 wheel horsepower, which we haven't had it downloaded yet, I'm probably right around maybe $1,600. My $600 first tune, the downpipe and the intake and the installation for all that was about $1,000, so there's that. Eventually here, I guess you can factor in getting a new clutch, which is gonna be $1,000, depending on if we put it in, if I find someone else to put it in. So you're probably looking at maybe around $3 grand in upgrades, just to be able to have that kind of horsepower. So if it all comes down to your priorities, it all comes down to what you want out of your car and what you expect. You know, if you're happy with the stock GTI, I mean, just getting into a turbo car is so cool, and having that, experiencing boost for the first time. I tell this story before, the first time I ever experienced boost was in a 2007 GTI. I was test driving, and thank God I didn't buy that thing. It had like 90,000 miles on it. They still wanted like 10 grand for it, and I was like, I think I was just like maybe 17 or 18, and I wanted to buy it, and I didn't. My dad was like, "You're not buying that piece of junk." But it was the first car I've experienced boosting, and it was the coolest thing ever. Just like going. It had so much turbo lag. It was like going, which is really, really cool. For all you guys that don't have GTIs, that watch this channel, that are aspiring GTI owners, it's really, really cool. It's worth going and getting a test drive and experiencing. Even if you have a friend or somebody that you know that might have a GTI, go check it out. It's addicting. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. It is President's Day again, like I said. I threw up a code on the Swankymods website. If you guys want to go over there for 25% off of everything, all the Swanky apparel, use code MERICA, M-E-R-I-C-A, MERICA, 25% off all the stuff. Make sure you guys head over to my Instagram. I've been posting more and more stuff on there. People have been engaging, asking me tons of questions. I usually get back like that, so it's pretty cool. But otherwise, guys, thank you for watching. Have a great night, and I'll see you later. Peace.